We are back. Hello, hello. Still the new year, still the first, week or so of the new year, so happy New Year's. We're talking about investing in yourself today. And this notion of investing in yourself is bigger than we're not talking about just money. We're not talking about, just weight loss. We're not talking about just work. We're not talking about not just any one thing, but the totality of investing in yourself and the larger sense of it. So we'll kind of go through kind of like what my thoughts are and how I have decided to invest in myself and how I continue to do so. But it's what you're putting into yourself, because if you're anything like me, if you're a spouse, you're a mom, I'm an attorney, I own a law firm, I am continually pouring into other people, right? And helping other people and supporting other people. But I realized that I wasn't doing a lot of that for me, right? So my weight loss journey in the past 18 months, if you're new here, I've lost 40 pounds in the past 18 months. I do alternate day fasting and some OMAD, so I do intermittent fasting. But through that process, I really kind of learned to take care of myself and be kinder to myself and to really pour into myself so I can then in turn pour into the other people that I'm taking care of and that I help with work and things like that. So let's just get into it. Let's get into deciding to really go all in and invest in yourself. And we all have done that in different points in our lives, right? So for me, it was, opening my own law firm. I did that in March of 2016. So it's going on 7 years now. I quit my job with a guaranteed paycheck to open my own law firm. Like, that was scary. That was, I can't lie. That was so scary. That was, one of the biggest bets that I put on myself. Even just becoming a lawyer, trying to navigate that journey was a big bet on myself and me really going all in. I've been an attorney for going on 14 years now. Yeah, 2009 is when I graduated law school and passed the bar. And aside from work, weight loss, I've done other things for weight loss before in the past and have had short-term success, right? So your South Beach diet, your tracking of the food, the points, the keto, it's all short-term. I had success, but it was only short-term and I always gained it back. So that's actually not really success. I actually didn't succeed on those plans. But these are things that I set out to do. And I didn't know how I was going to do them, but I invested in myself. I invested in my belief in myself that I could figure that out. Somehow, some way, I was going to become a lawyer. Somehow, some way, I was going to lose this weight. One day at a time, right? So, what can we do? What decisions can you make to invest in yourself, bet on yourself, and really pour into yourself so you can take care of yourself and take care of others? Now, for some of us, the thought of investing in ourselves, that seems scary. Betting on ourselves seems scary, but I don't actually really think it is, because what is the real risk? You have complete control over yourself, right? You can make those decisions. If it's a career move for you, if it's an education, if it's weight loss, if it's whatever you want to do for yourself to better yourself, right? Betting on yourself and investing in yourself, again, not just financially, but just putting the effort into you, that's fully in your control. So I'm not sure that the risk is as big as we initially think it may be. And again, investing in yourself is not just paying for something for yourself, but it's investing your time and your energy, your own happiness, right? And believing and understanding that you're worthy of the thing that you want, right? And sometimes that's the hardest thing to accept, is that you deserve it. right? So that was something that I really had to work through, and that alternate day fasting really helped me work through and understanding kind of, you know, different thoughts and feelings and stuff, and how I was using food to not deal with certain things. And so, and going through this journey and really trying to take care of myself, I've done so in a way that's so different than in prior attempts. So when it comes to what's getting in our way, it's usually ourselves. Like, that's usually the biggest block, is like a mental block that we have from trying to pursue the things that we want to pursue. So, you know, we can look everywhere for motivation externally, right? You can buy all the books, watch all the videos, listen to all the podcasts, and look on social media, and maybe you know some people who are achieving things that you want to achieve, whatever they may be. But at some point, you have to decide that the change is not going to come externally, right? The change has to come internally. At some point, you got to do you. You got to take the action and make the decision, because you are the only you. You're the only one of you, and no one else can, you know, offer what it is that you have to offer. So if it is a business venture, if it is a career change for you, if it is weight loss, I don't know what the change is that you are looking for. I've had a number of them over the years, right? But at some point we have to take the action and just take it, you know, put one foot in front of the other and start making those changes. And some things that you try, some things that I've tried won't work. Some things will be a complete fail. They won't work out as you planned. And that's okay. Like, the only way you're going to move forward is by making mistakes and failing and getting up and trying again, trying something different. Because if you don't make any mistakes, if you don't fail, then you're not doing anything. Like, are you really doing something that's going to create the change that you're looking for if you're not making mistakes along the way? If you're not failing along the way, then what are you really doing? You're just playing it safe, and playing it safe is never going to get us to where we want to go and where we want to be, right? So, you know, for me, we all have a different set of experiences and skill sets and education and life experiences that create who we are and what we have to contribute to the world. So, like, for me, like, yes, I'm a lawyer, but my skills far exceed being a lawyer. I've been a lawyer for like 14 years now, you know, and I know my practice areas, sure, but as a whole person, like, there's so much more that I bring to the table, right? So I've opened a law firm. Like, I've taken an idea in my head and have turned it into a profitable law firm with employees, and it's been going on for 7 years now, right? Like, and in that process, I've hired employees, I've fired employees, I, you know, understand how to run a law firm, business management, the marketing, the HR, like all the things that go into a law firm. Like, I have figured that out in my journey, and it's added to who I am as a person. That has made me, I don't know, it's just, I'm trying to think of the words that I'm looking for as far as like what we all bring to the world and what we all have to offer. It's so much more. You may think that, well, you know, oh, well, you know, I don't have a lot to offer, or I, you know, I only do this, or I only do that. Like, that's not true. Like, you're so much more than just the one thing, right? So, like, there's so much you've experienced in your life, and there's so much more for you in your future if you continue to build upon what you have and bet on yourself and invest in yourself and keep moving forward, whatever that may be. And so maybe for you, like, that goal is weight loss, right? So I mean, that was a big one for me for these past 18 months. I mean, that's been, you know, one of my priorities, one of the forefronts of what my goals are. But I had to take each step. Like, every day I was making the decisions to work towards that goal, and that's something that you're going to have to do as well. And you're going to have to be willing to try new things that you haven't tried before and be willing to fail. So if maybe you've tried intermittent fasting before and it didn't work. There are so many different types of intermittent fasting that if you've only tried one, if you've only tried alternate day fasting and didn't try OMAD and didn't try 16/8, didn't try 24, like there's so many different options that you can try before you just give up on yourself. And not, you have to get back up even when something doesn't go right. Even if you feel like you've made a mistake or you failed, you have to continue on that journey and on that path. And it's not always easy, right? It's not always easy. It can be very frustrating for a process to have to go through. But in doing so and continuing to work on yourself and to know that you can do it, to believe that you can do it, you have to keep showing up for yourself. And this is one of the biggest lessons learned in my fasting journey. And what I've been doing for myself is continuing to show up. Even if I was supposed to fast on a fasting day and I broke my fast, for whatever reason, like, it's okay. I broke the fast. I continue on that schedule. On my next fasting day, I will fast on that day. Like, I don't just give up and throw in the towel because I made a mistake. So, like, on prior plans, which were usually very restrictive, right? So like with the South Beach or whatever, which it works. Like, I'm not knocking these other plans, but I don't think it really gets to the root cause of the overeating. And what it didn't do for me, that alternate day fasting did for me, is that it helped me understand me and why I was turning to food. And so during my ADF journey and with intermittent fasting, it's allowed me to keep showing up for myself on those fasting days, whereas I didn't feel that same way on the other plans that I've done before. And so aside from just weight loss, in my current business with my law firm, I'm continuing to show up and to grow and to think, and how can I make the law firm better? How can I continue to make the law firm more valuable with the skills that I bring? And how can I create better value for my clients? I've been working on my coaching business and growing that, and what can I do? There's so many coaches who do all the things, right? And what I want to do, I'm not the first one to do it. But I bring a certain set of skills and experiences to the table that no one else in this world brings, because I'm the only me, right? I'm the only one who has done what I've done. So in my coaching, what I do is I usually work with women lawyers who are usually moms who are just trying to figure out the juggle of work life and personal life. And so what I like to say when I explain what I do is that I help mama lawyers take their lives and their law firms from a hot mess to a hell yes, to really figure the dynamic out between personal and work. And that was such a struggle that I had to navigate and kind of figure out the hard way, that if I can help someone fast track that and figure that out and help them, be accountable to themselves and bet on themselves and invest in themselves to be their best self, like, that's what I'm looking to do with that. So that's what that's about. So I was also thinking, like, so I think I mentioned in my other video that I've recently hired a personal trainer. And I saw her this week earlier, and she was like, oh, what's your New Year's resolution? And I was like, I don't really have one. I don't really want to make a resolution. I have in years past, and they always fizzle out, right? Mid-end January, like, you're kind of over it. So I told her, like, I just want to continue to keep the promises I make to myself. Whatever that might be, whatever decisions I make to invest in myself and bet on myself, when I make myself a promise, I want to make sure I'm keeping that and that I'm honoring that with myself. So that's what I would love for you. If you are, I'm not going to say resolution, because I think different than a resolution. It's not, oh, I'm going to lose X number of pounds, or I'm going to do this or do that. It's just whatever promises that I make to myself, little, like on a daily basis, I want to work towards keeping those promises. So for you, I think it'd be helpful as well. Like whatever promises you want to make to yourself, whatever you want to do to bet on yourself, to invest in yourself, to be your best self, I want you to work on just keeping that promise to yourself on a daily basis, you know, the weekly basis, the monthly basis, whatever the size of that promise is, just work on keeping that to yourself. And if you happen to fall down and you break that promise, because we all do, I will, you will, it's inevitable, to accept that it happened and be okay with it and continue on with the next day's promise, whatever that may be. Like with prior plans for weight loss, I used to do, I would call it fuck it eating. Like if I'd have a plan and I'd go off plan, I just say fuck it, like forget it. Like I've already gone off track, so I really go off track, right? And I'd be off track for weeks and months before I'd reel it back in and then go get back on whatever that plan is. And I've lost all that time. Like, whereas now with the ADF and intermittent fasting, I don't feel the same way. I don't feel the need to do the fuck it eating. Like if I'm supposed to do it, I have a potty mouth, I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. I'm not apologizing for that, but that's just who I am. That's how I talk. That if I'm supposed to have a fast day and I end up not fasting, it's all right. It's okay. My next fasting day, I will fast. Like I've been able to continue on track, which is what has allowed me to get to the 40 pounds of weight loss that I'm now at. So I hope this was helpful. I hope it motivated you, inspired you to, you know, believe in yourself, to bet on yourself, to invest in yourself, and to keep whatever promises you made to yourself, or if you have any promises with yourself, start making promises to yourself, which can be as simple as making a food plan. Whatever that plan may be, just to make the plan, keep your promises. If you happen to break the promise, know that it's okay, and you'll try again the next day to keep that day's promise. That's all. No need to make it any more complicated than it has to be. So I hope this was helpful, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day.